Yeah. Hey. Well, yeah. Goonies never say die. You know what time it is. We got horror suspense. Listen, Kevin Trav digging in the bin. Dirty Dancing in Encino Man. You never know what you'll find in Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. He's got all these flicks from way back when. Marty McFly in the DeLorean. Gotta love the gauge and whatever he's in. Face off Snake Guys, you know it's a win. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, let's begin.
Welcome to Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, the podcast where we take your favorite movies, give you some facts, tell you the plot, and there might even be a few jokes along the way. I'm your host, Travis.
And I'm your host, Kevin.
Back again with the bin and Kevin.
Yeah, we're back. Oh, sorry.
You got a good one here today. No more monkeying around, Kev. Get it out of your system now.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I won't put too many pauses in here. You know, pause.
Like a primate hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But monkey
No,
paw.
this is going to be a really ape podcast. It's going to be really good. I'm just going out on a limb. Okay, sorry. It took me a while to get rolling there, man. My brain is a little. My voice probably sounds a little jacked up too. I got like the allergy thing going on. I cut the grass, right before recording, and just, man, I can.
I'm glad you said that because I thought you were coming off a little upset. I thought maybe you had a chimp on your shoulder.
Oh, thank you, Travis. Thank you, dear, sweet Travis. Oh, bless you, buddy.
We have fun.
Hey, man. This one I'm a little interested to see because you and I watched this movie together. We didn't get to watch it with Doug because
more drama.
Yeah, more drama. So we pulled the movie out of the bin like we always do, and we were going to watch it, and all of a sudden Trish, I'm not calling her Aunt Trish, is not going to let Doug watch Planet of the Apes with us. One of his favorite movies, okay? First of all, one of his at least top 10 favorite movies of all time. Not going to let him watch it with us because she wanted to go to the new Applebee's, not the old Applebee's down by the by the mall, but the new one that's across
out by the new interstate.
Want to go buy the new one. And so now, I mean, where does that leave us? I mean, we don't have any of Doug's feedback on this movie, which would have been a perfect movie for him to give feedback on. I'm a little irritated.
Yeah, it's I think you're starting to get on my level with this whole thing. I mean, I've been irritated from the start. I was happy for Doug, but it's hard to be around him when he's in this peacock phase of everything. He's taking everything too seriously and this and that. And I don't know.
Well, and what's weird about it is, and I get it. Everybody's got their favorite. They think somebody's funny. Like, I'm a funny guy. Trish never really laughs at any of my jokes, but boy, does she think Travis's jokes are funny. Now, I get it. You're a funny guy. I'm not trying to say that you're not a funny guy, but like, I'm dropping. You remember that Terry Labonte joke I dropped that was just a killer, right? It was really good. Didn't even get a chuckle out of the woman. Why does she think your jokes are so funny?
And it's not because she doesn't know who Terry Labonte is.
Right.
She was wearing an XXL T-shirt of his to bed, so we know she, and I get that. I think, here's my theory, Kev. You remember me talking about it last episode when we had Mullet Gate. I complimented her mullet, and ever since then, ever since I took her side in the mullet debate, she's been a little bit more pro me, a little bit more anti you.
Yeah, maybe I should have weighed in a little bit better. I don't know, man. It's just weird. And then she's always like, "Oh, Travis, do you want some more Tang? I'm going back in the kitchen. Do you want some more? I could put a little bit of Tito's and some Tang." And she kind of like winks, She never gives me that treatment. I never got a Tito and Tang.
Yeah, and it is, I don't know, I think there's something else in there, but it is good.
Yeah. Well, it looks very delicious. It looks creamier than normal. I didn't know that.
And I'm never able to drive home after. I don't know what's going on with it.
Well, I don't know, man. But anyway, it's okay. Look, people don't tune in to hear us just complain about Doug's love life. I mean, again, I'm happy for him. I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly. It's just, when it starts affecting the podcast, I feel like I need to talk about it. So I am going to sit down with Haley, who is our president and CEO and chief, and kind of discuss it with her and get some feedback from her. She's very good at stuff like that,
Yeah, she is. And I'll say this. It's a pretty good Applebee's. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to take sides, but it is, if you compare it to the other one, it is.
And then she did want to get there in time for the dollar margaritas, like the dollar marks. I mean, and I get it. That's fine.
I get it too.
Yeah. But it seemed a little rushed.
But we have a podcast to create. We have an uncle to enjoy it with, and I don't know. It's kind of obnoxious to me.
Yeah. But
they're both. You know what? They're both on my bad side. I'll say that. I'm not happy with either of them. But for the sake of the podcast, Kevin, I'm here with you.
Yeah.
We'll fulfill our duties. And talk about Planet of the Apes, I guess.
Yeah, fear not, dear listeners. We're still here ready to just bring you all the information about Planet of the Apes. The original, the OG. All right, now that bad boy was released on April 3rd, 1968, directed by Franklin J. Schaffner. Writers, Michael Wilson, Rod Serling, and Pierre Boulez. All right, starring Charlton Heston, again this season, Roddy McDowall, and Kim Hunter.
Yeah, I would say heck of a cast, but it's not. It's
I like Roddy McDowall. Can I be honest? I was very disappointed another Charlton Heston movie came out of the bin. I don't like Charlton Heston all that much.
I'm not a huge fan. When he's on screen, in this movie in particular, he's not a savory character at all.
God, thank you. His character in this movie, Travis, has to be one of the most unlikable protagonists in any movie I have ever seen.
Easily. And for me, it all starts with that maniacal ass laugh. Because the audio doesn't match up with the video, and they're putting the American. We'll get to it, but it's like, if we could speak about it here, just to kind of set the stage, the whole movie is the whole reason that this movie gets the accolades and is as memorable as it is because of the last minute. Mm-hmm. The twist is a lot, holding up a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And if and I was lucky enough as a younger man, maybe in late teens, early 20s when I watched this, I had somehow not been spoiled on it. I enjoyed it for that ending. I was like, that was great. That made it kind of worth it. But you watch it back and that ending, it's like, the ending is so obvious every step of the way. How dumb was I to not have known? So anyway, I think I loved the movie when I first saw it. The second watch ruined it. I was not having fun at all.
I watched these movies, the whole franchise, as a kid and really liked them. I don't know why, because they're kind of boring. If you're just there isn't enough monkey fights like the remakes, which I love. I love the remakes. If you haven't seen those, they're fantastic, man. You put that Andy Serkis as Caesar the Ape and anything, man, I'm watching that junk. But
heck yeah.
Like the originals, they're just kind of boring. But I loved them as a kid, and then kind of rewatching it a little bit, I was like, does anything happen in this movie? Is there anything that's going to happen?
Yeah, and Kev, you and I watched it together over at the trailer, and I remember watching it, and I got home, and I was reflecting back, because you take copious notes, and I just kind of rely on memory and hoping that you took copious notes, and I was like, man, I don't remember the middle 90 minutes of that movie. So the next day, I put it on again and watched it again. I still don't remember the middle. I don't know what happens in the middle of the movie. I'm looking at it and I'm hearing it, but I'm like, why? I don't need this. We don't need a Darwin court scene for an hour.
Real quick, it was Copious one of the monkeys in the movie?
Honestly, maybe.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I didn't
it could have been Cornelius.
Meant, so.
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, you might be right about that. Anyway, I'll ask what copious means later. Travis, you know what I am going to ask about right this second, though? How about a little bit of 6 Degrees of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Sure, I got that. So I thought it would be interesting because, we've come, in back-to-back movies, we have some 20th century heavyweights in terms of cinema. We got Clint Eastwood and we've got Charlton Heston. Right? And I was like, surely those two have crossed paths in a movie. They've made probably collectively over 200 films. Who knows? Turns out, no. They've never starred or been featured in or even, with likenesses of in the same film, which surprised me quite a bit. But they have a couple degrees separation all the way through, more than I could count. But the one that I thought was most interesting was because I love Rip Torn. You know Rip Torn?
Oh, yeah. Not only a great actor, but a great name.
Right? One of the most amazing names in cinema. Well, he's the one he's the glue. You know, he's the meat to this juggernaut sandwich. We got Clint Eastwood and Rip Torn together in City Heat, a movie I've never seen. Mm-hmm. And then we have Rip Torn and Charlton Heston together in Hercules. So Rip Torn, I thought, would be the most interesting thing to bring to bear here for the podcast. But there's tons of connections. But here's the wildest connection I found, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, you take our last movie, again, Unforgiven, and you got Gene Hackman in that movie. He's great, that movie. He's grizzled. He's intimidating. He's just, honestly, I mean, you and I agreed, he probably outlifted Clint Eastwood in that movie in terms of just being on screen and being magnetic. He was incredible. Just a towering figure. And then you got Charlton Heston, also known for his bravado in his roles. And
his ability, I think it's both hilarious to me, impressive, and annoying that his ability to like go from 0 to 9,000 in any scene, and it just is so over the top when he goes there, is incredible. That's
Heston?
The thing about Heston.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But we have these two guys, Gene Hackman and Charlton Heston, on each side. You know, these guys are known for their sort of bravado. And
so they're the bread.
They're the bread. All right. Now I'm going to introduce you to some meat. Christopher Walken, you know.
Say what?
Yeah, occasionally a funny character, right? But a lot of times, you know, you think Dead Zone, you think some films like that. He's, you know, oftentimes in the mob mafia tough guys. So we got three tough guys here, right? Here's what joins them, Kevin. Gene Hackman did a voice in Ants alongside Christopher Walken.
Okay.
Who was in Wayne's World 2 with Charlton Heston.
Okay, all right. I like that you went to like none of those like tough guy, like heavier action drama movies. You're like, nah, let's do kids movie and Wayne's World.
I thought that'd be an interesting connection for these three particular actors. Plus, given the movies we've covered with them in it, I thought it'd be a fun touch. So there you go.
So Travis, I gotta tell you, buddy, I'm just proud of you. You've been bringing some good stuff, man. Thank you. I you know what? I bash you. I beat you down. You know, but I think it does inspire good performance out of you. So what are you going to say, you know?
You know what? I kind of have a kink for it. I say, push me down, toss me in them, throw mud on me, make me better. That's what I say.
I have not thought about, I think about Wayne's World 1, probably like, you know, I don't know, maybe once a month. It just comes to mind. I just think about it. But I haven't thought about Wayne's World 2 in probably nigh on a decade.
Wow. I wonder...
Until
we
today.
don't have any comedies in there. I wonder if there's any comedies in the bin. You know, Doug went through a very serious action movie phase throughout the 80s and early 90s. So
I would be a little intimidated to do a comedy podcast because that's what we're a comedy podcast, right? I mean, we
tried.
Yeah,
we
tried. I mean, everybody that's listening to this right now is like, well, we've never laughed, guys. So if you could make that,
I get that, and I get that.
Yeah. So sorry, but generally we like to think of ourselves as a comedy podcast. How do you do a comedy podcast about a comedy? You know what I mean?
I think the only way you could do it is if that movie is bad. I think when if it's trying to be a comedy and you can out comedy it, it's a tough ask.
I mean,
it's a tough one.
At some point, it's bound to have one come out of the bin. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Travis, man, okay. So you got me a home run on that 6 Degrees of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How about some of those reviews?
Yeah, I would say these are a step up from the last couple of movies. People had some fun with Planet of the Apes. As you can imagine, I think there's a lot of fodder there. I will say, though, people that didn't like it took some hard stances against the way that women were treated and a lot of the racist allegories that are embedded in the film. I didn't pull those here because I think, if you come to that conclusion while watching the movie, that's up to you. I'm trying to have fun. I'm on a comedy podcast we've established, so let's have fun. So I found a 4.5-star review here. This is from Jay Schmoney. This is March 26th of just this year, not too long ago. He says, it's a great movie up until the last 3 minutes. Then the father of the Twilight Zone himself, Rod Serling, delivers an absolute mic drop to elevate this to an all-time classic and give us one of the greatest movie endings of all time, Legend.
Wow. I mean, yeah, the movie ending on this is pretty good. I mean, I do like it. I do like the close of this. I had always thought this movie in my head, I was like, you know what, that movie is just like a long episode of the Twilight Zone. Like in my head, that's what I always thought about this movie. I had no clue that Rod Serling actually wrote this until we started researching this, and it's kind of interesting. This particular movie is much closer to the book that Rod Serling kind of worked the screenplay from, though he massaged it a little bit. But there's a lot of talking in this. You were talking about the monkey trial in the middle of the movie. That's sort of a big scene in the book as well, although it's kind of handled a little bit differently. So I don't know, man. I always had that feeling. Rod Serling just has such like a distinctive style to the things that he does, and he was a incredibly prolific writer too. He wrote like a gazillion episodes of the Twilight Zone. So I appreciate his brain and him putting his brain on here, but it ain't my favorite of his works.
I do think he's pretty good about holding back a punchline or the big ending, the big reveal.
Yeah.
He's very good about concealing that and making it hit. And that monkey trial, I bet that reads better. I bet it reads better than it portrays on film.
You know
for
what?
sure.
It too. If we were smarter people, and we'll get to this. We're not. I mean, not that we're not smart people, because we're idiots. I am, Travis. You're a PhD. You're a big time scientist. Big.
No,
smart
I'm
guy.
just.
But
I got the PhD to kind of prove that I wasn't an idiot. Like I suspected I might be, and I was like, I better get this so people know better.
yeah, well, I mean, thank God. Now
Looks
I know.
alone are doing me no favors. I
Yeah.
look so stupid.
But if we were smarter, we would probably take away some of the themes of that particular part of the movie. But I just wanted to see a monkey punch another monkey. Is that so much to ask for?
I don't. Yeah, you got to watch King Kong movies for that. I don't even know where you get that.
But you watch the remakes, and it's got a lot of action. You got the apes fighting each other. You got the apes fighting the people fighting the apes, and then you get a little bit of like allegory and theme and morals and blah 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 in there. But mostly, I just want to see somebody punch somebody, and I just don't get a lot of that in this.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. It's probably because they spent a lot of time getting those monkey snouts just right, those ape snouts just right. They didn't want to ruin those. That's a lot of makeup. They did a really good job with the facial stuff in here.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah. All right. So we got 4 stars here from Adam Kempenar. January 1st, 2023. Ringing in the new year with Planet of the Apes. Says, started watching it on TV with my oldest in a London hotel room, and we couldn't stop. Maybe I should read that in all British. Although if he is British, would he be in a London hotel room? He'd be in his own London home. But I don't know. Maybe they visit each other from inside.
You know what? I'm going to weigh in on this. Yeah, I want the British accent. Yeah, I think.
Got it. Started watching it on TV.
Nope. I'm sorry. Take it back. I don't want the British accent. Okay. All right. Okay.
Too late. Nope. We're going to go. Started watching it on telly with my oldest in a London hotel room, and we couldn't stop. He knew the ending, because who doesn't? But otherwise had never seen a frame of it and is still buzzing. Counterculture Chuck Heston. Come on. Who couldn't love it?
Why do you sound Australian? That you
I'm
went
so
Australian,
good at
like
Australia.
halfway through. You just suddenly, I was expecting a crikey to come out of your lips there.
I'm so good at Australian. That's what they all say.
Yeah,
and I can't stop from be doing it.
No, you're right. You're right. You are absolutely right, Travis. You know what? If I were going to watch anything in a London hotel room with my oldest child, it would probably be Planet of the Apes instead of, enjoying London.
Yeah, 100%. Too rainy.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
rainy.
All the time.
All right, up next we got Josh Almeida. Real name, look him up on LinkedIn. This is from September 5th, 2023. This is 3 stars, very middle of the road, Kevin. Buckle up. He says,
Okay.
Charlton Heston is so annoying in this movie, no wonder the apes refuse to listen to him.
I can agree with that. He is so. I don't know if it's Heston necessarily, because he's put in some pretty good performances in movies, but his character is just so horribly unlikable. You're like, I'm praying for extinction of the human race. Like, you are just the worst, dude.
Yeah, I was Team Ape from the drop.
Hell yeah.
All right, people low on it. We got someone here who just goes by EV. E period V period, very edgy. This is from July 2nd, 2021.
Is it?
That's somebody's birthday out there. Happy
Could
birthday.
you? I mean, is it pronounced Evie?
Maybe, or Ev.
Ev. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know things. 1 star. Why does Charlton Heston talk with his teeth?
It's all teeth, no lips. It looks like a cow just chomping down on so much cud.
It does. It's they should have just called him Cud Heston.
No, nice.
Instead of Chuck. I don't know. We can work on it together, maybe later. Anyway, we got the last
Who
one.
are you working on it with, and when?
You. I thought maybe we could come up with a better Cud Chuck Heston portmanteau. Anyway,
I think I'm gonna call him Cud Heston for the rest of the movie.
Oh, you just like that by itself?
Yeah, I
How
think
about
that's
Chud
pretty
Heston?
good. So, like, he's a cannibalistic human, a humanoid underground dweller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like
it. All right. Anyway, Ray Eilish, 11 January of 2021, 1 star. My dad forcing me to watch these horrific films. The typo here. It looked like Saint 7, but it's at. Let me start it over.
Mm-hmm.
My dad forcing me to watch these horrific films at 7 years old gave me a lifelong crippling fear of monkeys. Terrifying. Actually, it's terrific. This person couldn't spell or punctuate.
Because they're so scared. Like, Travis,
Yeah.
your mortal enemy is a snake. Can you imagine trying to type how scared you are of a snake if there was a snake right there?
I couldn't do it. No, I'm especially because you share like 90% of your DNA with the thing you're afraid of. That's
Oh, yeah.
the call's coming from inside the house,
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got.
Oh, my God. I was having so much fun with that. I was ready for about 10 more of those. Again, Travis, you know what? I'm starting to see what Trish sees in you. You are the funnier nephew, man. I really appreciate it. Well, how about moving on, we jump into some of the plot of
Might as well.
Planet of the Apes. That is what we do here. We give people some facts, some jokes, and then we talk about the plot. And sometimes we have facts and jokes in the plot as well. So, there you go. Now you know what we do here, Travis. I'm glad that you showed up.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Well, the opening has a terrific screensaver, light image, just blooping out there in space. We get a little bit of that happening. And we meet George Taylor, okay? Or, as he may become to known, Chud Heston, is the protagonist of this film. And we find out that they're on ostensibly a space mission. Now, he's the only one that's not in some form of like hyperbaric sleep, or I don't know if that's a real thing, some type of space sleep. They all have capsules and pods. The rest of the crew is asleep. He's the only one that's awake, and he's presumably just doing the last bit of programming before he crawls in the pod himself. And we find out that he's going to be gone 6 months Earth time. His time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But on Earth, it's going to be around 700 years have passed, okay? Whatever. They're kind of doing like an Inception sort of space travel situation here, okay? And, he sort of philosophy. This goes on for a while. Like, this opening scene, they really only had to establish a very small amount of sort of backstory or exposition, but it just goes on for a while. He expounds about how space like squashes your ego, and he's like sort of gesticulating with a cigar and just coming off so douchey, just so douchey in this.
And it seems like they put a lot of money into this, making the inside of this spaceship interior, because the whole rest of the movie is just desert.
Hold on, not that much money. The walls are made of like egg crates. Like, it's not like the sound foam egg crates. So it's not a huge
What is
amount.
the budget of this? Like, if the budget of this movie, and if I were to estimate the budget of the movie is somewhere around $700, this was probably 300 of it, Kevin.
5.8 million, by the way. 5.8 million.
Wow. That's too much. That's too much. You know what? I could make this entire movie from scratch, perfectly replicated, for half that easy.
We should do a sweeted version of Planet of the Apes starring Uncle Doug. How awesome would that be? Well, he is he's smoking this cigar, gesticulating about humanity and traveling through space and all this kind of nonsense. And then he takes that burning cigar and puts it in his pocket. Which is just an outstanding place to put a burning cigar in a spaceship, in your pocket of your spacesuit. Makes perfect sense to me. And God, this is such a slow scene. But you know what? The music, though, the score and the soundtrack is pretty stellar.
It is. That is good.
Throughout the entire movie, the music is really good. I like it quite a bit.
It's almost like it's like the second best. It actually might be a better cast member than the rest of the cast.
The
soundtrack does a lot more lifting than Chud Heston.
No, for sure. Well, it goes on for a while. But he climbs into the sleep chamber, and it closes, and we get kind of the title card. Some amount of time passes. Again,
way better title card than Free Willy, believe it or not.
Yes,
we're talking
1,000%.
30 years separated. Yeah,
you were absolutely right about that. But super slow intro. Now they kind of come awake and it's a wild crash landing scene. There's no better way I can put it. Like, it looks like they sort of maybe filmed some of it with a helicopter, and then some of it they just like took a camera and just jiggled it around over landscape. Like, it's really awful. And this crash landing scene goes on for a long time till they eventually touch down in water. Now, all of them are asleep for some reason for this landing. And there's like warning lights, and one of the pods, the one that contains Stewart, who is the female on the ship. I know that sounds creepy incel the way I said female, but the reason that's important I'll get to in just a second. That her pod had some sort of crack in it at some point, and she basically is this like mummified skeleton. And then all the dudes wake up with beards. So we get the feeling that maybe more time has passed than they anticipated. I don't know how they don't necessarily age 1,000 years in these pods, but yet their face grows hair. I don't know. It's weird. But it's just science, Travis. But if I don't remember this later, Taylor, Chud Heston's character, references the plan was all three of these guys were going to mate with her to set up a species on a new planet. So they just lost their Eve for their 3 atoms. And he says it like the creepiest way, too. He's like, it was going to be hot and vigorous or something like that.
He did say that.
Awful.
He said that, and I was like, oh, so I guess they knew they were going to a desert planet. You know, I was trying to maybe skirt past the idea that he was just being creepy. I'm like, yeah, it probably will be hot where you landed and where you have to mate. I guess.
Yeah, maybe. But my problem with this whole scene was like, so they crash land in the water. Like, why is the ship landing? Like, what was their plan if they hadn't landed in water? All of them are asleep. Nobody put out landing gear, and they just crash land in water. What would have happened? What was their plan? What are they doing? You know, NASA, if nothing else, they do calculations, Travis. What happened here?
I don't know, Kevin. It blew my mind, too. I thought maybe I would come here, and I was like, Kevin's probably going to have an explanation as to why this happened.
Yeah, idiots. Bad science.
I mean, do they even know where they're going? Do they ever mention what planet they think they're going to?
They do mention, like, Chud Heston's character just sort of says, well, we're in this general area. So they were just shooting for a general area is what they were shooting for.
So they're just kind of hoping, like, well, I hope wherever we land they have fresh water and gravity because we were ill-prepared for much.
Exactly.
But we're going to have a ton of sex.
They are for show. That's probably how they got those guys to sign up for it. They do have this emergency water landing. The pod's open. They're kind of just trying to throw everything back together. They send one last message to Earth to kind of say where they're at. They have the like tiniest little inflatable raft that they throw out, and all the fellas end up on that raft. Before they get out, though, we do see that the Earth date, okay, is, in other words, they have 2 tracking counters on there. One that's like the spaceship date, and then because time moves at these 2 different paces. Right. And the Earth date is November 25th, right before Thanksgiving, 3978. Okay, so it's been a while, all right? It's been more than 700
exactly
years.
2,000 years.
Yeah, almost exactly. So now the ship is sinking again. They kind of hop off, and they pedal off on their little yellow inflatable raft. So you've got the 3 surviving astronauts that are hopping out and heading towards land. You got Robert Gunner, you got Dodge, and you got George Taylor, played by old Chud Heston. So they do make land. By the way, the guy that's playing Robert Gunner has about the fakest looking beard I've ever seen in my life. It's so bad.
It looks like he just played Abraham Lincoln in a city play and then immediately ran to be in Planet of the Apes.
Exactly.
It looks like it was put on there with hairspray.
And we just constantly, and if I'm not saying it, it's just George Taylor is just being a jerk, just all around the clock. I just want you to know that. Well, they managed to make land, and they have, we find out their plight, okay? They've got food and water for about 72 hours, okay? Again, what was your plan? What was your plan?
You're going to fly around space for 500 years, supposedly. It turned into 2,000 years, and you only brought enough food for 3 days?
What? It seems now maybe Travis, they had a bunch of food on the ship, but they could only get their like exploration packs. They've all got these like, and these props are awful too. Like I don't know what they spent the $5.8 million on, but these are like plastic packs that someone sort of spray painted like a silver paint over, so they look metallic, but you can still see through them when the sun hits them. Like they're not great props, but. Either way, they have these things. They've got some testing kits, so they can kind of start to test the air and the water and the land. And he's like, "Man, this land seems not good," is what Dodge says. And eventually,
it's not. It's in a desert. It's a desert, but there is water. Is it fresh water? I guess so, because they fill up there.
They say that it's irradiated.
That's
later,
right. That's right. Yeah,
or something along those lines. So George. Right before they go to leave, Robert takes a little tiny American flag out and puts it near the shore. And this is the cackle that you're talking about. George just like, this is Heston going from 0 to 9,000. Like it's just it's like the time you remember when we took Doug to the post office so we could get a money order, and I kind of like slipped coming down the stairs in front of the post office and fell, and Doug just put on that real like cackling laugh just because he knew he had an audience. It's kind of
about
like
having
that.
An audience. Yeah, it's more of a show than it is him actually laughing. Yeah. And the thing that bothers me about that scene, because I watched it, I like rewound it a couple times, kind of like, it's kind of like a car wreck. Like I wanted to see it again and again and again to kind of understand why I hated it. And it's because the audio and the visual does not match. He's not laughing like that on camera. And that's what bothers me most.
And it's so much money on this movie. But anyway, so we're going to enter what I like to call the Fellowship of the Rings portion of this movie, where they're just walking around. Like that's basically about 90%. They're walking around and talking that happens for the next.
And I'm begging for a wizard to show up. Somebody.
Can I get an orc? Can I get like an elephant? Can I get something, But none of that. No. They just head off in no particular direction. He's like, why are we going this way? He's like, I don't know. Seemed like a good idea. Great. Terrific.
Yeah. Like, don't you have, like, I feel like you would want to land and get the polar coordinates of the planet that you're on and maybe set up like a sundial and follow where you'd want to learn stuff. They're like, nah, just walk in a direction.
In a direction. Just the one. And they take the most dangerous routes possible. Like, there's this huge sand dune. And instead of like going around it and coming down, they all just decide to run down it when there's no medical care anywhere on this planet whatsoever. They don't even have a first aid kit, Travis. And they're all like, yeah, let's just run down this sand dune as fast as we can. Whee!
They get Indiana Jones style chased by boulders. There's even one scene where they're walking through the desert, and you can clearly see on camera there's an easier way where they're going, where they can just go downhill kind of unimpeded around a section, and they all just walk up the side of a hill to get to the exact same place. And I'm like, why?
And this whole time, George Taylor, Chud Heston just keeps busting Robert's balls. I mean, just over and over again about like, oh, you were this hot shot back on Earth, and that's why you came on this mission. Well, look at you now, you joke. You're nothing.
Look
but
at you now. You got a bowl cut, and you look like Abraham Lincoln's stepsister.
Do you mean Abraham Lincoln?
Ape. Yeah. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a shout out to the Tim Burton version of this movie, but yeah, he also says something like, everyone you've ever known or loved is dead now. Ha, 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 ha. You're like, God, dial it back, George. This is why you had to leave Earth. No one there liked you.
Very clearly, yeah.
Well, this goes on for a while. Finally, oh, yeah, they actually we get a little bit of character motivation for why these people might want to go on this journey. And then finally, Dodge kind of hollers at everybody. He's like, hey, man, get over here. I found a plant. I found life. And all three of these astronauts sort of gather around this little plant. So that's it. They've discovered life on this planet. It can support life. And what do they do immediately? They dig it up and kill it.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess I don't know if they want to keep. That's another thing too, is that like right after this, it shows them walking by tons of plants, and no one's reacting. It's just that this one, I don't know.
It's the first.
Like in this
it's
scene,
the
right?
first one. Yeah.
But like immediately he's like, oh, like, and it gives me an idea that's like, oh wow, that's true. I hadn't seen a plant yet. That's great. The food source on this planet must be scarce. But in the very next scene, it shows like a horizon where there's just several bushes. I'm like, oh, so it's a normal planet with lots to eat. Like,
yeah. Like once they
Not a
get
big
through
deal.
the desert. Yeah. It kind of, you're in this desert area, and then they sort of go into the scrub brush, and then eventually they end up in a jungle. And again, this just keeps. This is like 45 minutes of movie
it's so much.
here. Yeah, it goes on forever. But eventually, in fact, my very next note says so much walking around, which was an accurate adaptation. They eventually, you kind of see as the audience some kind of figures in the background moving around. Now we've been told it's Planet of the Apes, so we go like, oh, those are probably some apes. And eventually, they find these creepy scarecrow things that are sort of up on a hillside, really weird looking. They're like animal skins over sticks, and in this weird, almost like X crucifix sort of position. And they
like
go
a headless scarecrow, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Travis, you've seen a lot of movies. Normally, you wouldn't go towards that. You're like, you know what? That's some Blair Witch right there. I'm going the other direction.
Yeah. Although we have established we are in need of water.
Mm-hmm.
We have limited supplies. This very clearly shows signs of sophisticated civilization able to assemble these things. They might be scary, but then again, maybe they're trying to scare away something that could kill us. Let's go in and have a chat,
And so that's exactly what they do. They decide to go in and have a chat, and then they see a waterfall and a swimming hole, and they say, you know what, let's just, instead of trying to find out who this belongs to, let's just get naked and go swimming.
Puzzling decision. The most puzzling decision was let's all go in 3 different areas to disrobe, which I get, maybe, but you're going to jump into the same water naked and hang out together naked, so maybe it doesn't matter. But they pick weird spots to disrobe, which leaves them very vulnerable to kleptomaniacs that want to come steal their garments and leave them exposed.
Also, we almost see Heston's Heston in this. We almost see Chud Heston's Chud in this.
We
almost see Heston's Chud in this.
I'm following you every step of the way, and I rewound a couple times in freeze frames. I couldn't make it out. I think they do a good job of hiding it.
Yeah, I think so too.
His firearm was not visible.
Well, eventually, they spot a footprint on the side of the kind of sandy area near this big waterfall swimming hole. And there's no way to say it. They're all 3 naked, and they kneel down in an order that seems extremely suggestive.
What was up with that scene? How did they not see that and be like, well, that's weird, the way we shot that? Because it's just 2 dudes. It's Chud in the middle. Everybody's naked. We already know that. We've established 3 nude men that are wet. Chud's in the middle. They look down. The other 2 guys beside him kneel down simultaneously with their heads going down toward his midsection. And he's just still standing there looking down with 2 men that have already kneeled down. Why did they do that, Kevin? You know a lot about cinema. Why do you think they did? Do you think they were trying to suggest to us something?
Yeah, I think what they were suggesting is that these are men of a different generation, and they're not shy about their bodies. I don't know if you've ever been in the locker room of a gym when just a bunch of old dudes in there. They do not care one bit. They'll just be standing there, butt naked, shaving, wiping things. Cutting each other's hair sometimes. It's weird in there. Those old guys, they just don't, and they will dry themselves for an extended period of time. And they are all men from Chud Heston's generation that are doing this. So I'm just saying, maybe this was just very accurate to how men hung out naked at the swimming hole looking at foot tracks.
I just want to point out why Kevin said that whole thing. I rewound that scene and showed it to him about 13 consecutive times, and he did not flinch. So, Kev, you're a professional.
Listen, like I said, I've been members of a lot of gyms, and it's just, you get used to it, Well, something that you don't get used to, though, Travis, is your clothes being stolen while you're out skinny dipping. Which, by the way, hilarious. This next section, they're just sprinting around naked through scrub brush, just trying to get their clothes back. Now we see very human-looking hands grabbing the clothes. We do get that little clue, and they're just chasing their tattered clothes all down this hillside. Eventually, they start finding their stuff. They find a few little pieces of clothing, enough that they can preserve their modesty, let's say.
Dude, this scene made me so itchy. Just watching them run through brush and in the thickets and all that stuff with no clothes on. Like, I was imagining cuts and
you know what?
ticks.
Like, I know what poison ivy looks like. I know what poison oak looks like, but I don't know what poison sumac looks like. That could have
probably got it all over them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, eventually they start finding some of their broken gear, their testing kits, that sort of stuff. And then they see people. It's actual peoples, Travis, and these people are running into a large field of corn, and they're pulling these melons off of a tree. Thought that was kind of weird. Some kind of fruit they're also collecting. And these humans, in quotes, are not particularly intelligent. They're behaving in a very
barbaric,
very animalistic manner. They don't
quite
seem
primitive
to have any, very primitive, right? Which is kind of weird. And then off in the distance, all of a sudden, at the edge of this cornfield, we hear these scary noises, Travis. And then we see horses, hooves, and dust is flying up. And then we see guns.
I said, well, here comes the Balrog and Gandalf, finally.
and unfortunately, it wasn't, Travis. That shall not pass, and it shall not happen. No, Travis, it's a bunch of apes on horses with guns and nets.
I was so excited, dude, because I thought at first that those people were just lousy excuses for apes in this movie. And I was like, what? You can do better than that. These apes suck. These are people that are just dirty. And then apes. And I was like, whoa, those apes look good, dude. They look mean and good.
Was it by comparison, though, that like if you had seen them before you saw the people, when you thought the people were apes, you'd been like, that's okay.
Yeah, but do you think that was by design? They were like, show them some people, make them think it's shitty apes, and show them the real good apes we made.
Yeah, I think that maybe that's it. Or they just wanted to like hold the big surprise of the apes, riding horses or whatever. But anyway, the apes are essentially corralling these human beings. The humans are more or less pests in their crops is kind of the way that it happens. And this scene just goes on for a while. The apes are kind of like hurting the humans and like capturing some of them. Dodge, if you remember, one of our astronauts, he gets shot in the frickin' neck. He's running and just bang, one of the apes just drops him. And the other
neck
one,
shots are so hot in this. Everybody wants to get shot in the neck in this movie. It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
All day.
People love it. We also get our first glimpse of Nova, who's going to be a sort of primary character going forward which is a human. And then we see the other astronaut, Robert. He gets clubbed really hard in the head. All right, so that's what happens to him in this. And there's like people jumping off the side of this embankment trying to get away from the apes, and they're just behaving like a bunch of scared animals, which people also do. And
by the way,
eventually,
you called him Robert. He's Landon in the movie. He's Robert Gunner I think.
Yeah, Robert Gunner's is that the actor or the character?
That's the actor. The Landon is the character.
Oh, I've been doing that the whole movie. Well, hey guys, fix that in your minds then. Just keep that. That is like, it doesn't really matter. He gets whacked in the head, and we're not going to see him for a while, but he is going to come back, Travis. And finally, George gets shot in the neck himself. That's two people getting shot in the neck. Now, his shot to the neck, not quite so dangerous, but he does, in fact, pass out. And that's the end of this scene. Well, Travis, moving along. The humans have all been captured, and there's a scene where like some of them are hung up dead, like a big game hunter has kind of killed them. And then George kind of gets tossed in this wagon. And and then like the apes are like taking pictures, posing with their trophies, and just like laughing and talking and having a good time. This is a very, I think this is where, for me, the movie kind of hits the peak of kind of satirizing human society a little bit. That like humans do all these awful things and then they pose for like a photo op. Like I just think that that's such a great little bit of satire, and like the way they're all kind of laughing and joking, and it's just this weird surreal scene. I really like that. I think that works very well.
Yeah, I agree. I like there's a lot of, and you can spin out ones that aren't even intended, but there's a lot of allegories about society in this. And yeah, I do love the satirical vibes of the apes making fun of the worst parts of man, and us not liking that watching it, but realizing that is very much a part of who we are.
And yet their society still works better than ours for the most part, although it's got some problems. Well, George is of course unconscious from his injury, and he kind of wakes up, and Dr. Galen is working on him now. Dr. Galen, from this point on, we're going to be talking about a lot of apes, and it is an ape character and also a doctor, a learned doctor, Travis, much like yourself.
Sure.
And so he's giving him a blood transfusion. So they're at least here's what blows my mind about this like ape civilization, and like the world building around it is like the hodgepodge of like they have like some pre-industrial technology, but yet they have plastic to make like a tube to transfer blood, and they have like machine parts for guns, yet like the none of the chairs are like chiseled out of rocks, and like it's a weird like hybrid kind of concoction of technology that they've used to build this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think when I was watching this, I was trying to reason why some of that might be, and I think if you know the ending of the movie, you might speculate that it was just holdovers from whatever survived some cataclysm of some sort.
Right.
Or the flip side is just that, you never know if any society starts from zero. Who knows what avenue? Like you ever played Civilization, the computer game?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do animal husbandry first, or do you go into metallurgy? Sometimes it depends, right? If you're hungry one way, if you got war going on the other way, you never know which way things are going to go. So, I don't know. It is kind of interesting, though, to see that, any society could develop differently.
I mean, I think I'd go metallurgy during the day and like animal husbandry at night, because you need something to entertain you, Yeah, when you want to relax.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, just put your feet up in the evening and just watch a couple of cows just go at it. I grew up in the country, Travis. There ain't a lot of entertainment the TV goes off at like 8 o'clock, man. It wasn't nothing after Jeopardy, so you just had to watch, whatever you could find for entertainment.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
Well, anyway, what they're doing is, of course, providing this blood transfusion, and Zira, who is going to be one of our primary apes, if you will, or primatary apes. I don't know. I didn't like it. But you know who would? Chud Heston.
Chud.
Has come in. She wants to see this ape that has been, this human that's been brought in, and she's an animal psychologist. We find that out about her, which I think is just wonderful. And they kind of discuss how to research on humans, like the appropriate methods, and how they want to do some brain surgery to kind of learn about humans. Now, George is kind of waking up and coming to while all of this is happening, and his throat is injured. Okay, so he can't talk. All right. And now,
by the way, this neck injury, the visible neck injury, not convincing to me that it's bad enough to make him ill-equipped to speak.
Well,
at the worst, it looks like somebody just rubbed a little bit of blood makeup on his. There's nothing showing like an insertion point or anything deep. No one had to stop his bleeding. There was no doctors, but it's bad enough to stop this man from speaking, which is the most important thing he can do right now.
Yeah, because the plot says so, Travis, and that's the most important thing.
All they had to do was get some better makeup on that neck wound. Convince me that he's got a serious injury.
And it's weird, like this, as a convention in the movie, doesn't really need to happen. Like, you could go right to the part where he sort of wakes up and starts talking, or he tries to escape or something like that, and then he could say the famous "Get your dirty paws off me, you damn dirty apes," or whatever that is. Like, you could go right to that. You don't need any of this, like, them, other than just maybe you could use a little bit of it to establish that they thought humans were lesser species, but like it's just not really needed at all.
You're right. There's about 20 minutes here they didn't need to have because, again, once he does talk, they immediately are like, oh, well, that's not happening.
There's some great scenes once he does start talking, though, where like Cornelius, who we haven't met yet, is just like, yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe he's talking.
Exactly. Yeah, they just don't believe it, and then when he does talk, they don't believe him. We didn't need the whole like 20 minutes of him pretending to have a sore throat, and being like, I can't talk. They won't let him write. Like write with feces on the wall.
Do whatever you got to do to get yourself hurt. Although I guess if you're trying to maybe not the feces, I don't know. But
blood, you got blood.
You got
blood. Blood and blood.
Yeah, you already got some neck blood. Just put it to good use.
Yeah.
Well, eventually he gets put into a much like you would see an animal in a zoo in sort of a cage situation, and at that point, Zira kind of comes to visit him. She nicknames him Bright Eyes because of his nice blue eyes. And her and the zookeeper, shall we say, that kind of works there, think that he is kind of funny because he's trying to mime talking like they do, like the intelligent apes do. Well, eventually we get my favorite character, good old Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, he's
awful, but I like him.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's so familiar. He's every old, white, stubborn dude I ever knew from a church.
So are you telling me I like old, stubborn white dudes from the church? Is that what you're telling me? I just like Dr. Zaius because he walks in the room with like an air of superiority and like swag. He's always got the best outfits. His like chin whiskers are combed just right, and he's got that dulcet voice. Like you know what? He's not. I don't like his actions, but I like the cut of his jib.
Dude, I don't know what it is about him, but I didn't like him immediately, and I think it's because he's so familiar, and I don't know why. I think he's just a jerk.
Well, Dr. Zaius does come in, and he's unconvinced of what Zira is trying to convince him of, which is that humans are smarter than they think. He's like, nah, they're just, a bunch of beasts. And there's a couple of bits here where Chud's character, Taylor, is kind of miming things that they think he's doing, and he's trying to communicate with them, but they just, Dr. Zaius won't have any of it. He just doesn't believe it. Well, one of the things that Zira does do is bring Nova. Now, I've mentioned her. She is a human, and puts her in the cage with Taylor as sort of a gift to him. She wants to create them as a mating pair.
Yeah, and, we've already established that the humans that are already inhabiting this here planet are a bit primitive. And then, we know that Charlton Heston, more of a sophisticated NASA engineer type, and it just seems a little weird to match them up together because it seems like there's not an equal footing in terms of cognition and consent and just communication. So it's problematic, and I wasn't comfortable with it, but at the same time, the point is they have to procreate, and that's their point. They are the same species, and there's nothing here that shows that she's unwilling. Kevin, it's murky waters. I don't know what to do. I watched it. I just accepted it. I moved on. I said, I hope it doesn't get graphic. That's what I said out loud. I said, I hope it stays PG-13. And then we moved on. Is that enough? Can we move on?
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you talked about that so I don't have to, because it made me very uncomfortable too. Because her cognitive capacity's not there, and then he's sort of like, he's kind of like...
Or is it, and she just can't talk?
Yeah, well...
Does she have like a physical restriction on talking, and she is with it enough to understand what's happening? Because she's obviously not that stupid.
Have some understanding of trying to get him to stop standing out to the apes, because in the next scene he's trying to communicate with the apes. Now they're out in the yard is what I'm going to call it. There's this sort of big bamboo cage that all the humans are trapped in for their recreation time outside, right?
Which, by the way, it looks weak as hell. I'd break that bamboo cage down in an instant. There's no way it's keeping me
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm super strong. I just like karate, cha-chow, when he'd be out of the way. But he kneels down and tries writing in the sand to communicate right about the time Dr. Zaius comes out, and everybody turns around and pays attention to Dr. Zaius. Well, Nova then like sort of crouches down and starts like erasing his words. Like she's like, she knows in her mind like it's a bad idea to stand out to these apes because then they're going to do stuff to you. She maybe doesn't know why, but she has at least that much cognitive capacity. Well, another male human sees her doing this, and he tries to do it, and Taylor's like, hey man, knock it off. So he like punches the guy or kicks the guy. Then all of a sudden we got a people on people fight.
Yeah, less awesome than when the apes fight amongst themselves, I would think. But, it is what it is. Not a bad fight, honestly. It's some much-needed action and an otherwise dry 90-minute slog between two good bookends of a movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that Taylor's fight choreography here, old Chud's fight choreography, has him like karate chop the back of the neck, like classic 60s style. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that stuff. Well, eventually the apes come in and kind of breaks up the fight, and George is drugged back to his cage. As he is, Zira is kind of checking on him, and George reaches out and grabs at her. He takes a whack on the head for this, but he gets some paper from her and is able to write the words, "My name is Taylor," on this piece of paper. And Zira takes a look at this, and man, her eyes about pop out of her head.
Pretty insane from her point of view, that this guy just wrote down stuff, and with decent handwriting to boot, because mine's terrible. She would have taken one look at that and been like, nah, he's nothing special.
Yeah, you would have still been in that cage. But like, if you think about it from this perspective, primates are very capable of learning sign language and communicating with humans, right? Like, that happens. We still kill them and experiment on them. Just to be clear, we know they're perfectly capable of communicating with us, and yet we still do it anyway. So I've got a little sympathy for the apes here, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum didn't even warm up. He went straight to him.
He just stuck that baboon right in the fry-olator. Or the fly-olator.
Ah, look at that.
Bang, bang. Zira at least is cognizant enough to know, like, hey, this is very unique. He has full-on just handwriting. By the way, in the book, the apes speak a completely different language. So there's also a language barrier, is kind of how they circumvent that him not being able to talk thing. So the Taylor in the book has to, I think he draws out like some math equation or something, is how he convinces him that he's intelligent, and he eventually like learns their language. He's a French character in the book. And,
I like that way better.
Yeah, it kind of makes a little more sense. Also, it is kind of weird they speak English, but we're just going to go with it because that's the way it is. Well, back at Zira's, George is kind of writing out all of his story, and Cornelius, who is Zira's fiance, just doesn't believe it. He's literally reading all of these notes. He's like, nah, I don't believe any of this. This is all just crazy. And George, or Taylor rather, says that, hey, he came on something that flies through the sky, and Cornelius is like, that's not possible. And Taylor makes a paper airplane and chucks it across the room.
Dude, it blows their mind. They see a paper airplane. This is a society. They themselves are somewhat primitive. They still live in like rock dwellings, and they seem to use a lot of like very primitive tools for the things that they do. But you would still think at some point somebody goofing off, one ape on just a rainy day made a paper airplane, and apparently not. They were like, "Whoa, things can air and stuff, suspension and air drag." 8 point how many meters per second? What is happening? Like, it was witchcraft.
They figured out the rifling on a barrel of a gun and how to make black powder, but they can't figure out paper airplanes. Sure, that makes perfect sense for me.
That's another thing too, Kev. I mean, not to give away the ending too soon, but like, we know that there is some remnants of a past world somewhere buried beneath. We even get to that later. At some point, they would have to have understood that this was possible. Right? There's had to be some remnants of flight somewhere. They watch leaves fall from trees, no?
Travis,
they could see.
Travis. Listen, we can't even build airplanes right now. The doors don't fly off of mid-flight. So, like, I'm telling you, them things ain't still going to be around in 2,000 years.
Dude, you know what I thought would be a great idea?
What's that?
Next time you get on a flight, pull a bolt out of your pocket and hand it to the stewardess and be like,
I found this in the floor.
yeah.
Yeah, great.
What's
Now
this
I'm
for?
stuck on the freaking tarmac for 4 hours because I had to be Chuckles the Giggle Boy. Okay.
If you've ever just loved the tarmac, that's your opportunity to stay on it for a while.
You know, I would love the tarmac if people would just close their stupid shades. God, it's 8,000 degrees on this thing. Why are you letting the sun bleed our faces off? Stop it.
Seriously. Amen, brother.
And if you're that person, just stop listening to this show because, listen, there's nothing to see on the stupid tarmac. Sure, when you get in the air, you can see small trees. That's great. Terrific. Open it then. It's hot on this damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm
with you, bud.
That's my revolution. I'm going to die on that hill for. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point I'm making here, Travis, is that Cornelius doesn't necessarily believe all this hype about Bright Eyes or Chud or Taylor, all the same person for the intents of this podcast. But he does have a theory that apes evolved from kind of a previous civilization, and that he saw some evidence of that out on an archaeological dig in the Forbidden Zone, which is exactly where Taylor came from. Well, right about that time, Dr. Zaius just kicks open the door to the house. He's like me walking into an improv scene, Travis. I don't need an invitation. Just bam, rolls right in.
Yeah, he's got things to say. Or does he? I don't remember this scene. Kev, take it away.
He does. He does have things to say. He's a little irritated because Cornelius missed his appointment with Dr. Zaius. They were going to talk about Cornelius's sort of new project. So that is his reason for being there. But he sees that paper airplane, and he's like, what is this? He's like outraged, like he's seen some sacrilegious thing. And that is kind of the theme of why the apes don't want to believe that humans have intelligence, because their sort of messiah, their messianic figure, wrote in these great scriptures that humans are not, that apes are, sort of the intelligent species. Well, he sees this paper airplane and he kind of like crumples it up in a very, very sinister way.
I know, man. And to me, it was like conservatives trying to keep us away from violent video games, right? It's like, look, in porn, like, let us have the nice thing. I don't care what your scripture says. If it's a sin, let us sin. Let us make our own decisions, It's not up to you to get in the way.
Right.
Whether or not we want to commit to flight or porn, same thing.
Same. If you want to take a bolt out of your pocket mid-flight, it's fine. Whatever. How are you gonna get through the metal detector with a bolt?
I don't know that they care if you have a bolt.
You're just like, this is my lucky bolt.
That's a scary bolt. I got a bolt.
Could you put like a little outfit on it, like it's a toy, maybe? That seems more suspicious. That's way more suspicious. Like you're really trying, rather than I just forgot I had this bolt.
Yeah, this is my little buddy. His name is
anyway,
Mr. Bolt, and he wears pants, and I keep him in my pocket.
Yeah, you're not getting on that flight. You're talking to somebody in a little air-conditioned room for at least 45 minutes. Well, these sacred skulls do say otherwise.
Scrolls.
Yeah, scrolls. Dr. Zaius sort of drags Taylor back to his zoo enclosure. So we find out that Dr. Zaius, we hear a character sort of talking out loud, the sort of zookeeper, that Taylor is going to be taken away and gelded. Travis, now you are not necessarily a horse person. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gelded many a horse in my day. Okay. I have a
Your enthusiasm there is somewhat alarming to me.
Oh, I got me a big collection of horse dongles from all my gelding days. I love it. It's a big pastime. My family was big gelder family there.
Well, you know who doesn't like it is Taylor, and he decides he doesn't want to be gelted, so he effects an escape, and he kind of breaks out. And this scene just goes on. This was like the action. They were like, we got to put some action in the middle of this movie. So he's like running through the streets. All the apes are like scared of him. He sneaks into like an ape funeral and causes just a whole big scene. And this goes, he ends up in the ape like museum. And there's like my favorite part of this whole chase scene is he ends up in this like ape museum and he hides in the exhibit on humans as a human. It's so corny and funny. And then he comes walking out and this like poor little ape family is like terrified. And while he's in the museum, he finds out that his buddy Dodge has been like stuffed and taxidermied and he's in the ape museum.
Yeah. Rough way to find your friend.
All in the middle of a big like chase scene too, right? So he's trying to like get away from his captors and not to have a terrible nightmares about this taxidermy Dodge, which is generally upsetting. Like he was like all the other humans look like they're kind of nicely sculpted out of wax. This one's just like his eyes are all milky and like half decayed. It's so gross.
And you can see they don't have a ton. I don't even think they have electricity at this point. So I mean, there's no like good storage of a dead body. These, here he's stinking. He's not good condition.
Yep. Well, he eventually gets captured in a net. He kind of gets corralled into it, and this is where he says his famous line. He says, he can finally talk. He somehow during this chase, miraculously his throat was healed. Maybe knocked something loose, maybe a little sand in there from the desert. Who knows? But it gets loose, and he says, "Take your paws off me, you damn dirty ape."
Yeah, or take your stinking paws. Don't forget how they're stinking.
Yeah, they're stinking, dirty paws, doggone it. And
the funny thing is, I don't know that my dad ever watched this movie, but whenever I would, like, as a kid or something, if I like take a French fry off his plate, he'd be like, "Take your stinking paws off my plate, you damn dirty ape." And I'm like, I don't know, where did that come from? Did you take my dad to watch, you just all Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. I didn't think he ventured into sci-fi much, so I was surprised to connect those quotes to my childhood in that way.
You know who I would love to ask about this quote would be Uncle Doug, but we can't. Thanks, Trish.
Yeah, can't ask my dad either.
Why not?
He's dead.
Oh, yeah, you got a Ouija board?
No. But you have do you?
No,
have board
oddly
games.
enough, I don't have a Ouija board. I don't want that evil in my house.
But that's my dad.
Well, no, I mean, just like, you don't know, like, it's kind of like you remember the website Chat Roulette? You just never knew what you were going to get. Like, you don't know that you're going to get your dad. You might get an evil demon.
Might get one of those horses that are still mad at me.
For sure. Fortunately, they'll be kind of calmed down a little bit. I'll tell you what, anybody guild me, I ain't going back at him a second time. Like, this dude gonna turn me into glue. I'm out of here. Well, meanwhile, he ends up back in his cage and he's talking to Nova, just sort of, just running the rounds of things to say to her. And then they kind of spray him with a hose to sort of push him back, and then they take Nova away from him, who he has grown rather fond of. And this is on my second watch of this, I watched this with my wife, and she's playing Animal Crossing on the Switch while we're watching this, is how engaged she was by this film. And when he's getting sprayed by the ape and he says, "A madhouse! A madhouse!" she audibly just laughed. Like, she sat down the Switch so she could enjoy laughing at how over the top that moment was.
Oh my gosh, he's terrible in this film. I don't know what it is. That's just also a bad line to give a man being hosed down.
Yeah, it is, man. I love it. Well, he's kind of sprayed down, and then this is where he drops that bit about Stuart, the lady that died, being the sort of new Eve. This is before he, of course, gets sprayed. Oh no, he gets sprayed down, and then he continues his conversation with Nova like nothing's ever happened. He explains how they were all gonna like have their turns with Stuart, who was very attractive, and sort of repopulate this planet. And he's like, he kind of looks at her and he's like, But, basically you're the only girl in town now, and smiles at her, and she smiles back like she's learned how to smile, and it's so weird and creepy, Travis.
It's not good, Kevin. I didn't feel good about it. I still don't. I don't know that I ever will.
It is very, very odd. You had kind of like alluded to some of the reviews being like misogynistic, and like this feels like misogynistic, but on like an even worse level. You know what I mean? Well,
yeah.
I'm glad you agree with me, because I would call you out if you didn't, Travis.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no it's hard to defend, other than if you looked at it from if they were the last two humans on Earth, and that was what needed to happen, maybe, but it's still hard to. We need to talk about it. They need to talk about it.
Well, so he has this whole conversation with Nova, and then the apes come and kind of take him away, and they're going to take him to basically monkey court, to ape court.
Oh boy, let the fireworks begin.
Ooh, this is so exciting. I don't even know. It seems like the writers, as well as the actors, and just generally the audience, is confused about what he's actually on trial for here. So the trajectory of this, and there's a whole lot of things a lot of dialogue that happens here. But first of all, they pull off all of his clothes again, because they say his clothing smells bad. Oh, okay. Sounds great. But they have this long discussion about whether he has actually any rights in an ape society, as he's not an ape. So that's a whole long conversation that happens. And then eventually he's sort of trying to defend himself, and this prosecutor's like, well, tell me about what are the 4 tenets of ape society? And like just asking him questions he's clearly not going to go. That would be like me being like, Travis, what's your favorite worker placement game? And you'd be like, I don't know, Kevin. And I'll be like, you're an idiot. You have no rights in this court. That's kind of what it's like, right?
Was that a board gaming thing that you said?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know what planet you were coming from. So that, it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not. They're not fair questions. The court also won't allow him to speak. And then the trial sort of morphs into being discussion from this tribunal, which obviously Dr. Zaius is on, because he's like the big cheese here, man.
Which is only made up of the blonde apes.
Yeah,
there's something about the esteemed blonde ape.
There is a little bit of a caste system that is kind of alluded to in this. So the orangutans have more of a prestigious, and this actually carries through into the remakes as well. Kind of some of the references of this movie, like Nova is a character in one of the remakes as well. So it's kind of interesting how these timelines and things overlap. But there's this sort of hierarchical system of the different types of apes, and kind of like caste system almost. So that I do think there's a lot of neat ideas in this movie, but you still got to have one monkey punch another monkey every once in a while. It just needs to happen. But anyway, eventually the trial kind of gets turned on Zira and Dr. Galen. If you remember him from like 8 scenes ago, he hasn't even been in the movie since. But they're the prosecutor sort of says that they experimented on this human, and that's why he has this hyper intelligence, which just seems ludicrous, and everybody sort of thinks so. And eventually, Cornelius kind of pipes up, and he has this sort of statement about apes kind of being evolved from another species or something along those lines. And then the trial shifts to this sort of religious zealot view. Again, I'm boring myself talking about this. Yep, you got it.
Sorry,
there,
I was. Did I miss anything?
Yep. Nope. But this is pretty exciting. They decide to go examine the other humans that were captured, because one of the things that Taylor says is that there was another intelligent human with him was clubbed in the head. Now, as I was calling him all by the wrong name. I was calling him by the actor name. Character name here is Landon. And he is, in fact, in this group of humans that have been captured, but he has a very suspicious-looking surgical wound on his head, and we get the idea that Dr. Zaius is behind sort of lobotomizing this character, which incenses his. He didn't even like him. I don't know why Taylor's so mad about this. He really didn't. He did nothing but insulted this poor man while he was able to realize he was being insulted, and then suddenly he's enraged by this, so he like charges at Dr. Zaius, which he is of course subdued.
Yeah, and I'll say that was the best Landon's beard ever looked. Was when he had a giant horseshoe dent shaved out in the side of his now dumb-looking face. Yeah. I kind of like that reveal in that part. That did, for a split second, made me want Chud Heston's character to get a little revenge. Because up until then, I was like, just kill him. He is a jerk, he's annoying, and he's about to take advantage of a cave woman, and he needs to be put down.
Well,
and I was like, wait a minute, they carved a horseshoe at his friend's head? Okay, well, that's too far.
That's too far. You know what, Travis? I bet there are a bunch of gelded horses out there right now that like to put a horseshoe-sized print in your head, man.
Well, I got jars of goods to... I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yep, fair enough.
I kept the penises.
Are you sure you know what gelding means?
Castrate. I also take the penis.
Okay, all right. Disturbing, Travis. That's
Trophy.
Totally unnecessary.
Well, you can cut that out. Then that ain't true.
Fair enough. Well, back in the courtroom, they kind of decide to unconvene the trial, whatever the term is. They're going to stop having the trial for a little bit. And then a little bit later, Dr. Zaius has Chud brought to his office. Is essentially the gist of this. Now, so, in this scene, first of all, shout out to Dr. Zaius. He has got a real nice office. I mean, this thing is like well appointed, nice furniture, big desk, looks very important. And he is, of course, totally on board with the fact that Chud is intelligent as an ape. He kind of understands that at this point, but of course he holds his own religious views, and he basically tells Taylor that I now have control of you. I have the ability to decide what happens to you. Here's what could happen to you. We could geld you and chop up your brain, and that's going to be it. Or you could tell me where the rest of the intelligent humans are, because he is convinced there's another tribe somewhere of intelligent humans in the Forbidden Zone, and he wants to put an end to that. He does not like that idea at all.
Right, that'd be a threat to him and his ape society. He doesn't like that a bit. How about Chud just take us out to the Forbidden Zone and point to where they were? Where they at?
He of course, there is no such thing, so he kind of has to stick to his story, and eventually he gets put back in his zoo slash jail slash enclosure. And
I would have been like, just, I'll show you. Follow me. Let's go. And then lead him out there and then try to run away or something. I don't know. It'd be like my only chance out. It seems a lot better than having your brains cooked.
I mean, yeah, and they have a bunch of dialogue here too about like,
it's too much.
Yeah, religion, all kinds of stuff. But we're just gonna keep moving with it, man. We just gonna keep rolling with it. Well, he does eventually, of course, end back in his cell, and this is where we're gonna meet Lucius. Lucius comes in, and he kind of runs this gag on the zookeeper. He says, "Hey, I got to take this specimen to surgery," or something along those lines, and he makes a little motion at Chud, like, "Hey, grab this guy when the opportunity arises." Well, the opportunity does arise when the guy turns his back. They basically pummel this poor zookeeper over the head and leave him unconscious, and they begin their escape. Now, the first thing that Taylor does is says, "Nova's got to come with me. I can't be leaving her here without me."
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. At this point, they're pals. They do kind of communicate in some way. I do think there is a sort of a bond. Not a strong enough bond to warrant procreation yet. But they're friendly, and I think she should come along. I think she deserves an escape like the rest of them.
She does, because it's wherever she's going is going to be a whole lot better than monkey jail for sure. Well, they begin the escape. Zira kind of finds them and gives them. I love this. This scene did kind of crack me up. She gives Taylor a loincloth to wear, and he's like, could you have not given me clothes? And Cornelius is like, oh, yeah, we'll just give you a nice monkey set of clothes. Sure, we'll do that. And Zira's like, no. You guys basically all look alike to us. So if you just wear this, you'll blend in with the rest of the humans, and it'll be easier to sneak you out of here.
I loved that because from my point of view, all of the apes look the exact same in this movie, especially all of the tribunal, like all of those guys. I lost count of who was Cornelius and who was this and who was that. So it's funny.
Well, they load them up in a wagon, and it's like a daring escape under the cover of night, only nothing happens. They just ride away. It's fine. Everything goes well in this escape. Dr. Zaius is not, in my opinion, a very good administrator, or maybe Ape Society people just don't break the rules that much. I don't know. But like, he had almost no security on this like high threat that he perceives, Well, anyway, they do kind of escape it. By the way, Lucius is we find out that is Zira's nephew, just like we are to dear sweet Uncle Doug.
That's right.
And they kind of have a little bit of like parting here. The first thing, man, as soon as Taylor gets his freedom, the first thing he starts doing is being a huge jerk again. He starts like bullying Cornelius and telling him what to do, and then he like goes over and steals a gun. And I mean, I get it. I mean, he's gonna need it, but still. And they basically have decided Taylor is gonna head for the Forbidden Zone to try to cross the desert and maybe find where some other humans are living. And Cornelius and Zero are gonna try to find this archaeological dig that may prove that their theory of apes evolving from another creature or something along those lines is not blasphemy, because it's true. Okay, now that's the gist. Yeah. And so they basically head out. They're riding these horses. They've got their wagon with their supplies. So they're kind of heading in the generally the same direction. They get to this arc. And again, this is some Fellowship of the Ring stuff. There's just conversation and walking and riding horses. And it's like, oh my God, can we do something else?
So much. I mean, take a minute to do something fun.
Yeah, man. Maybe,
entertain me. What is going on? What is this, a documentary? This didn't happen. Let them do something. Have some comedy. Have somebody do something stupid. Make me laugh.
Yeah.
It's so painful. Kev, at this part of the movie, I am fighting sleep. I'm nodding off hard.
What if one of them tripped on a banana? Like a banana peel?
Oh, my God, I'm laughing still.
Classic,
that would be incredible.
Classic. Well, none of that happens. But they do end up at the archaeological dig. That's archaeological dig. That's what that is. They end up there, and Taylor is shaving, which the apes find kind of odd. And what I love, Cornelius is like, yeah, somehow that makes you look less smart.
You look dumber.
Yeah, you look way dumber.
Because that's a sign amongst them of intelligence and broad. And they're like, what are you doing? You look stupid when you do that. You look all slick and soft, young, nubile, weak.
Also, just every way that Zira runs in this movie is hysterical. Her character is very funny, and like her reactions, like she's so kind of like sweet and naive about stuff. She's a lot of fun. But
I do like they do make a point of making the apes sort of. I don't know how you would describe their gait, but they do kind of have an ape-like hobble, very subtle sometimes, but just enough to really sell that we are dealing with a different species. I appreciated the little nuances. I think the people acting as the apes actually do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Well, guess who shows up? Dr. Zaius with a whole regiment of soldiers, but somehow or another, Taylor manages to hold all of them off with just like one gun, and Dr. Zaius is like, you're right, he might shoot at me. Hold on a second. Again, I don't feel like Dr. Zaius has a lot of sand. Like, I just don't feel like they deal with a lot of situations like this. But he ends up agreeing to go inside of the kind of archaeological dig, this cave, to see if they can find... I love the way Cornelius says this. He says artifacts. instead of calling them artifacts, every time he says it, I was just like, can he say it one more time? Oh, he said it again. Artifacts. I love it. I love the way he says that. I don't know why that brings me. I was grasping for something to like at this point.
Give me something. Yeah.
Well, what happens inside the archaeological dig is, again, there's this argument about, like, are humans intelligent? Did apes come from somewhere else? Blah, 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 blah. Well, they find this human doll that's way down deep, very old in the archaeological dig. And Zaius is like, well, you know what? An ape could have made a human doll as a toy. Kids play with those now. And then the doll talks. It says, mama. And that's the big kicker right there, Travis, because we know no ape is going to make a human doll that talks, because humans don't know how to talk in this world, do they, Travis?
They don't. And you know what? Once I saw this, I went upstairs and I realized that my daughter has a bunch of animal stuffies that talk, and I threw them all away because I was like, you're right. That's horse. They can't talk. Why would we do that? That's confusing to the child. And then I threw them all away, and she's been upset, but she'll get over it.
I like that you're okay with that, but or you're not okay with that, rather, but you're okay with just jars of, like, horse dongs around the house. That
was a bit. I just tried to pretend I knew what gelding was. I clearly didn't. I thought it was putting horse penises in a jar. You're telling me it's something different? That's fine.
We'll talk after. We'll talk after, Travis. It's good.
Either way, horses are upset.
Yeah, they really are not happy with you. let's just call a spade a spade. Well, anyway, this big ordeal has sort of played out. Well, all of a sudden outside we hear a tussling and some gunshots. Lucius has sort of been left outside to kind of keep the soldiers from coming in. Well, these soldiers have crept up on him, and we have a little bit of a kind of a gun battle that kind of happens here. And Dr. Zaius he's not as wily as old Taylor, because he decides to stay in the cave. He's not going to come out there where it's dangerous. Well, then Taylor kind of feigns injury, and at that point, Zaius comes out. You know, he's going to be real smug. He's going to be like, looks like you weren't so smart at all, after all, human. And then, bam, he gets grabbed up and a gun pointed at him.
Gets him. There's nothing worse than being held at gunpoint by a naked man. I think there's some indignity about that where it's like, you got me twice. Now I got two guns in my back.
Wait, what? Oh, anyway. Well, Taylor basically says, you know, to the assembled ape soldiers, you need to go get me food, supplies, and a horse, or I'm going to pop Dr. Zaius. And Zaius is like, he'll do it. He's serious. He's a human. They're evil. So the soldiers go off to get these things. They kind of come back, and there's some goodbyes to be had. You know, Taylor sort of busts Zaius's chops a little bit. He's like, you knew humans were intelligent all along. And he's like, yeah, I did. I did actually know that humans were the primary species. I'm sorry, my bad. But it's in the scrolls.
It's like it's a Republican senator.
Well, very much so. Well, he has that conversation with Zaius. He says goodbye to Cornelius. He straight up, just for some reason, tells Zira, he's like, I want to kiss you on the mouth. And she's like,
why did that happen?
I don't know. And it's so weird. And
is that not the most puzzling part of the movie? Like, there's a lot of this movie that's confusing, but that part I was like, why that? That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it was weird. And she's like, you're just so damn ugly, which was also
that was fun.
Yeah, maybe it was just so they could get that line in there. Well, Nova and Taylor are riding away, and some of the soldiers are kind of going after him, and Zaius calls them back. Zaius has a quick little bit of dialogue with Zira and Cornelius. They're like, well, we proved it, right? Like, we're off the hook. He's like, oh no, I'm still gonna kill you guys. Like, I'm still gonna put you in jail for blasphemy. We can't, and I'm gonna blow up this cave where this evidence is. We can't have this information getting out. Are you crazy? What are you, a bunch of idiots?
And I've already lambasted his political affiliations, but I just feel like it's so reflective of the ride or die mentality of a lot of people that just stick to their religious guns well beyond the pale. Another just fine example of an allegorical theme of this film, religion and its byproducts. It's a little too on the nose, honestly.
It is. Well, as they are kind of riding away, Dr. Zaius says something to the effect of like, yeah, Taylor's going to find his destiny, and he might not like what he finds. And so Taylor, Travis, we've alluded to it. We've tiptoed around it. We frankly put our fingers in the Rolodex of this huge revelation many times throughout this episode, but he rides down the beach, and he finds a destroyed Statue of Liberty. Travis, it turns out he didn't travel through space, or if he did, he came back to Earth.
Yeah.
How does that work? How does that work? Did they just pop a Yui at some point in space and not realize it? Like, how did they get back to Earth? It doesn't matter. Turns out it was actually Earth. And he has this line where he's laying in the sand, just pounding sand and screaming like, "You did it, you maniacs! You blew it up! Ah!" And then it cuts to the credits and there's no music. You just hear the wash of the waves.
Yeah. Now, okay, lot to unpack here, because I think that there's a lot about this that's awesome. Because you've just suffered through. I will say I like the beginning of the movie. I love the setup. I like all the way. I like a little bit of the ape stuff. I think that's fun. And then there's just a lot that didn't need to be in there. And then you get this part at the end that's just awesome, because I feel like, for the time, for sure, and maybe even still, if you're gullible like me, that ending still packs a pretty good wallop. If you haven't been spoiled by it through pop culture, right? It's pretty cool.
Or us,
yeah. The reveal's great. I mean, if you know what's coming, it's very obvious, but you kind of get the camera kind of pans behind the Statue of Liberty, and you're kind of putting it together, and then there's a great view of it. I think I guess it's probably a special effect for the time, but it looks really good on screen, and they hold it there long enough to let it sink in. It's awesome. So I have some theories about why they might have returned to Earth. I have one theory, not some, but just one.
I mean, you are a scientist, so like if anybody's going to have
nothing.
A space
I'm
theory.
literally just a guy making stuff up right now.
Okay,
just remove my academic degree from what I'm about to say. But we know that one Stewart's chamber was cracked, which is what led to her early death on the ship, and there was some reason why they grew beards or they aged. It seemed like that wasn't what was supposed to happen. So I'm wondering if at some point the ship encountered some trouble and some automated part of it, some alarm beacon, just had it return from its mission before it landed, because it was like it sensed trouble, something wasn't right, returned to Earth. And when that happened, it landed in Utah, obviously, and that's the rest is Earth, right?
Wait, didn't it land in New York? If there's a Statue of Liberty there?
Well, it's been 2,000 years, and clearly we're at a shore here, beaches. I don't know. Cataclysm could be New York. Maybe the whole planet was underwater at one point because of global warming.
I was 100% sure that it was like New York, and then like now part of like New York and like that area of the country, it does look like a desert because of like whatever horrible catastrophe occurred.
I mean, maybe. My point, I think they shot this in Utah, which is why that was on my brain. But yeah, sure. But at any rate, yeah, the dilapidated Earth 2,000 years later. I mean, I think that could be a theory as to why they boomeranged. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't travel through for 2,000 years. Space is huge. You don't just bounce off the end and come back. That's not how. We knew that then.
Maybe you've been to the end of space, Travis.
I don't know. I'd be curious if they explained it in the book. I'm very curious. I feel like the book might have a bit better of an anchor to what's going on here.
In the book, he actually does go to a different planet. It's not Earth.
Get the hell out of here. What's the fun in that? That's dumb. The ending's the best part.
I mean, I don't know. There are human creatures on this planet, but he doesn't go to Earth in the book. Spoiler for the book if anybody wanted to read it, but
honestly, it makes me not want to read it. I like the idea that it's Earth. I think that's a really fun twist.
They do escape and go back to Earth. Does that do anything for you?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, well, I don't like anybody escaping. I want us to be miserable on Earth like God intended.
This is a much darker ending than the book. I will say that. It is
I love
a very dark ending. And
the ending does a lot.
Yeah, you're left to sit with it is like that. There's no soundtrack, just the waves of the ocean. I do like that. I like that stark kind of contrast. But that's it, Travis. We did it, man. What? Okay. All right. So, I have a fun amount of nostalgia for this movie. I hadn't really watched it as an adult until we were kind of covering it here, and I don't know that I love this movie as much. much as I did. Maybe it's the 60s, I don't know, pseudo intellectualism of it that it's trying for. I don't know. It doesn't land for me as well as it used to.
Yeah, I think part of me outgrew sort of the heavy-handedness with which it delivers a lot of its themes. I need something maybe more subtle to excite me these days, and this is very upfront. I haven't seen any of the new movies. I don't know how they hold up. And in fact, I was trying to watch all of the old ones in succession before I dipped into the new ones, and I got held up along the way. But either way, and I've said it a couple times, I like the very beginning of this movie. I really enjoy the setup, and I like the end. And I think the middle part is probably better in the book. So what I recommend anyone out there to do, start the movie, get about 20 minutes in, and then take the book and read the middle of that. And then once you get tired of that, flip back over to the movie, watch, because I feel like the ending of the movie is way better than the book based on what we just said. And there you go. Just make a little sandwich out of the book, do a little bit of movie, wrap it up. I think it's fine in that way. But I got to agree with you, Kevin. My rewatch of this 15 years after first seeing it took it down a whole star for me. I think I was about 4 stars in my 20s. Here, knocking on the door of 40. It's just a 3-star movie for me. It's all right. It has some good stuff for the time, but it's not my speed anymore. And that's okay.
I do think if you have not seen this movie, you probably should watch it. I think you would probably get more enjoyment out of it on a first watch than you probably would.
It's a one-watcher.
Yeah.
It's a one-watch. Because, again, knowing the ending, you fixate on it the whole time, and you're like, it is so obvious. Like, even the cackle at the beginning is telegraphing the ending.
Well, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, Trey, I don't know. I mean, again, I might have felt different if I'd have been able to watch it with Uncle Doug, and some of his like enthusiasm about this movie kind of spilled over, but it just didn't work out that way now, did it, Travis?
It didn't. I fell asleep for the whole middle part. You didn't even wake me up. You knew I needed that rest, and you were like, he's not missing much. And I appreciated that, Kev. You're a good guy to watch a movie with. But Doug would have forbade me to sleep.
You did look tuckered. And the way you pulled that little fuzzy blanket up to your chin, that was adorable. It was adorable.
Yeah. But, it's a pretty good blanket to be a Dale Earnhardt original. It's still holding up 20 years later. That's a good blanket.
I mean, a little fringe on the edges, but man, it's nice. The black and gray, man, it still stands out. And that's what, I was thinking about this the other day when I saw this. There's an El Camino that drives around my town that's in like Dale Earnhardt colors. And I was like, man, if I ever win the lottery, right there, that's gonna be mine. I actually, my wife was with me when I saw it at the grocery store, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to the owner and see if they'd be interested in selling it. She's like, you are not buying that. And I was like, it is very practical. It is both a truck and a car at the same time. You don't get more practical than that.
It's true. I saw one for, I'd say, almost the exact same story, and I was talked out of it. But the more I thought about it, I was like, no, actually, I was going to get it as sort of a gimmick and a fun joke thing. But the more I think about it, I'm like, I could really use an El Camino.
Very responsible purchase. But you know what else is also very responsible, Travis? How about some of those post-credit reviews?
Is that what you want out of me? Let's see what we got here. We've got a 4.5 star. This is from Griffin. 27 January 2022. A lot of people watching this movie in the month of January for some reason. He says, equal parts terrifying and hilarious. I don't know what I would do in this situation, but wearing clothes and shaving my beard would be far down the list.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both of us sport a little facial hair, so we're not too worried about the old facial hair. I would want to wear clothes. I'm going to be honest. He is naked for most of this movie, and I sunburn real easy. I can't deal with that.
You sunburn easy, and I just don't like the idea of like leaves and sticks and twigs and tall weeds rubbing up against my bare skin, especially on my sides. I'm sensitive there. I'll itch.
But if the fellers call me up and they're like, "Hey, you want to do a little skinny dip?" and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. Just y'all got some sunscreen. I'm gonna need a lot of it."
Yeah, we're gonna be chubby dipping if you invite me over. I got a gut.
That's right.
We got or husky dipping. I don't know which I prefer. We got 4.5 stars.
I really like husky dipping. I think husky dipping is way better.
We got 4.5 stars. This is from Alex Hodgkinson. Look him up on LinkedIn. This is from St. Patrick's Day of 2023. He says, half of this movie is just one scene from Shrek where the old woman is trying to convince the guard captain that Donkey can talk. That's true. There's a lot of this movie that we agreed did not need to be in here. Him going on and on about how he can't talk.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that could have literally just, or like the language thing within the book. I think that makes a little bit more sense, but I don't know, and like how poor it, like this man just must spend most of his life talking, because his like nonverbal communication, terrible,
Not great.
It's
Not great at all.
That's probably
Handwriting's
why
decent,
he
though.
didn't have a wife to leave back on Earth,
Yeah. There you go.
back on the Earth that he came back to,
Sure.
back to Earth.
Yeah, Earth 1,
Mhm.
as some may call. All right, we got 3.5 stars here. This is from Patrick Willems. Another one you can look up there on LinkedIn, July 8th, 2023. He says, I like when the apes smooch.
It is very like, because they're wearing these like rubber mask prosthetic things, and it's just like
Yeah.
it looks like if like one Pac-Man tried to kiss another Pac-Man, or Pac-Man tried to kiss Pac-Lady.
Yeah.
Mrs. Pac-Man, excuse me.
It is interesting, though. I feel like they can emote quite well in that get-up. I thought that was pretty well done. Then we got 3 stars just from simply Simon. Just Simon. Let's see what Simon says, Kev. This is from December of 2020. Simon says, how'd they get the Statue of Liberty all the way onto the other planet?
That's a possibility we didn't discuss, Travis.
It's
is
true.
That it is another planet, and somehow, like, maybe the explosions were so big from Earth, it like hurled the Statue of Liberty through space. Or, I mean, it could have been another. Space is very vast, man. When you consider
Alternate universe, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe a planet that had a very similar societal. Like lateral, what do you call those? Parallel progression to our own. I'm trying to sound like a pseudo intellectual, and it ain't working. Can we just talk about El Caminos again?
Sure. Or we can see what Joseph Shingle said. Probably his real name. 29th of January once again. This is a 1-star. Joseph not digging it, but he says, jumping out of your spaceship on an unknown planet and immediately going skinny dipping is crazy. It was cool to see the original, but I found it slow and not very exciting.
Man, nailed it. Yeah. I've seen a lot of horror movies too, and they're like, we see evil things on the rocks. Let's get naked and go swimming. I'm like, y'all about to get murdered.
Yeah. I mean, writing was on the rocks, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not a lot of smart decisions in this one.
No.
But honestly, they were kind of lucky to find the ape civilization on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, they only had food for like another 20 minutes, like when they found ape civilization. So like they probably would have, that would have been kind of a funny movie too, if they just like, they had this whole 72-hour period. They eventually starved to death. They died out in the desert, and then some apes found them, like, what are these humans doing out here? This is weird. Well.
Oh, well.
Credits.
Yeah, it's not even like an ape city. They found like it is maybe 50 apes live there?
It's like an ape hamlet.
Yeah, they're so lucky they landed on a planet and found that within 72 hours.
Yeah, that was very lucky.
All right, and that's all I have. So that's it for post-credit reviews. Thanks for everyone that we don't know who has no idea this podcast exists, submitting those and letting us steal them. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Also, if you're a friend of the podcast, send your own. We might select a handful of you to do it ourselves if we like you enough.
God, we're so desperate for like an email or just anything. Just send it to us. We'll probably say it, no matter how bad or good it is. We're gonna probably say it. So you can probably just send it to us, man. But
yeah,
who cares what those people think anyway? How about what I think, Travis? How about on a budget of $5.8 million, Planet of the Apes went on to gross $33.3 million and spawn multiple sequels, comic books, action figures, a single season of a TV series, 2 reboots, 1 terrible, 1 great, and even got a shout out from The Simpsons in a terrific episode of Fish Called Selma. All right,
classic.
The film, based on the book La Planète des Singes. All right, that's my French. Hope you liked it.
I did.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I did. I did. It was fine.
Okay, it became a template for future generations of sci-fi, and a film not afraid to melodramatically tackle societal issues that linger to this day. While most people are going to watch the reboots, they should spare a watch for this classic gem that puts the Dr. Zaius in your Zaius, and you won't want it any other way.
Yeah, man. I didn't bring this up throughout, but when I kept hearing Dr. Zaius, I kept thinking of
Dr.
Amadeus.
Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Every time. Did you not? Same for me. Dr. Zayas,
100%.
Dr. Zayas. I tried to hold off from doing that because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas.
Yeah, in fact, if you're going to watch that episode of The Simpsons, you might appreciate it more if you've seen the original Planet of the Apes. I don't know, man. It's a good one, though. Well, normally at this part of the episode, Travis, we give a hint for the next movie that we're going to cover. But man, we got this. This is the penultimate. We got the last season, the season finale coming up. We don't actually know what that's going to be yet because it was such a hullabaloo, with the whole Applebee's situation with Trish and just all that drama. We just didn't think to pull the movie out, so we're not exactly sure what it's going to be. But it's going to be something good, I'm sure. I can guarantee it because
so.
The bin never fails us, does it, Travis?
It doesn't. I'm honest. I'm nearing my breaking point with the whole thing, so I'm hoping for the best with the way things work when we meet up with Doug next week.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Yeah, don't go crazy. All right. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, you might like our other podcast. You could find me over on the board gaming podcast Blue Peg, Pink Peg. If you like Travis and his dry wit and dulcet tones, you can find him on a pile of great podcasts here on the Polymedia Network. And hey, if you like this show and you want to keep us shouting, keep your dirty paws off us, support us on Patreon as the Polymedia Network, all right? As always, we'd like to thank Harvest Black for that forbidden zone of a theme song. And just like our Uncle Doug always says,
You maniacs! You blew it up! Ah, damn you! God damn you all to hell! I love a good hat. I don't like my hairline. Makes me want to kill myself. Welcome to Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, the podcast where we take your favorite movies, give you some facts, tell you the plot.